Hello everyone, I'm Jack. Welcome to episode 47 of the Save File podcast. Today we're discussing the latest Pokémon trailer, Sony's State of Play, and Diablo Immortal's controversial microtransactions. Joining me today is Anf. How you going, Anf?
Pretty good.
Now, Anf, I want you to give me a game that you think deserves more recognition.
Everything that I play, because I'm a fucking dirty weeb. That nobody plays my games. No one does.
Shut up, Anf. No, I'm not letting Anf talk after that.
That was Sharps. Now, Sharps, can you give me a game you think deserves more recognition?
Everything I play because I only play good games.
Shut the fuck up, Sharps.
Alright, this is a great intro. Let's go on.
Anf, come on, Anf, I'm just saying, you play Kingdom Hearts Melody.
Yeah, at least I don't have poo-poo taste, my dude.
You do, my dude.
Alright, we've
Just like Josh.
gone back to when we were all 10, and joining me as well is Josh. Josh, do you have an actual answer for me?
I think Digimon Survive deserves a little more hype than it currently has because it looks really cool.
Okay. At least that's an answer. My game I was going to put up was Alienation.
No, look, if I gotta give one game credit, it's gotta be Stuntman Ignition or Fight Night Champion.
Stuntman Ignition is a quality.
I fucking love
Def Jam
Yeah,
Fight
for me,
New
for me, that's not a JRPG. Puppeteer on PS3. It's just Little Big Planet with scissors.
It sounds sort of fun, to be honest.
It's really fun. I liked it.
Alright, so we have... It feels like this was our the E3 month, because normally this is when we've had E3 and we've just had lots of trailers and everything dropping like crazy. And of course, that included Pokemon. So we got a new trailer for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. To everyone's big surprise, it's releasing in November. Like just about every other mainline release of the series.
November.
Pokemon
Really switching
November
up the formula.
18th. Yeah, they really are.
Why couldn't they do it in the first week of November? It would have been my birthday present.
Look, still can. Close enough.
I mean, yeah, but still.
Dude, like
So-
the uncle that never sees you, you'll get a birthday present 3 weeks late.
Always.
Yeah, so what did we think of the trailer that showed off a few new Pokemon, the actual legendaries, and the professors as well, which is an interesting discussion about the professors.
Dude, they hot as fuck.
I've read a lot about the professors. For those who don't know, so Scarlet has a professor that literally looks like they're sort of in a almost caveman or archaic outfit. Be the best way to describe it. And then the professor for Violet looks like they are sort of in some futuristic like cloak and jacket sort of deal.
One of them's a cave woman, the other one's a Bitcoin connoisseur.
That's not false. We don't know. They could be doing that on the side.
The Violet Professor looks like he has a good old Sigma grind set going.
He's about to tell me about the blockchain.
He looks like he belongs in Tron or something.
He does look like he belongs in Tron. There's been some great memes.
It's very futuristic, which goes in with the rather weird legendaries. If we want to talk about the legendaries, where one looks like a jet fighter almost, and the other looks like a motorbike.
So
You mean a penis? It looks like a penis.
You leave Miraidon alone.
You tell me that don't look like a purple dog. You're not seeing it right.
No, you leave my boy alone, okay? As a person who's playing Violet by default, I will defend. I will defend.
To be honest, I think I'm going Scarlet.
I'm going Scarlet as well.
You are both simps.
Of course,
So-
I want the K lady in my.
Yeah, I know
my
you're
life.
going for that.
So one literally looks like a dinosaur almost that has a wheel in the middle of it, and then the other is literally like some electric dragon almost, and I don't know.
Yeah, I got an electric dragon in my drawer somewhere too.
Calm down.
God. That was when we got cancelled.
Finally.
And then the internet Not delayed, but oh god. And then the internet is in love with Lechonk. It was literally just a pig.
Dude, I love Lechonk so
Big
much.
round pig.
He's a thick little man.
He's a thick boy.
As a Filipino, yeah, no, I can't see it the
food.
same way.
Dude, it's all food.
Because
Dude, one of them is called Smoliv, okay? They're all food.
I don't get small.
I like
We've run out of Pokemon ideas. We're literally just making olive.
May I remind you that in Gen 1 there was a Pokemon that was after a seal called Seal.
That is
I mean,
true,
at
yeah.
least that's an animal.
And Olive's a plant. What do you... What? Are we breaking new ground here?
Well, I feel like if it's an animal, I can at least go, oh, cool, it's an animal, and that's what like they're meant to be representing, rather than a living being that has a face. That's
Yes,
now an
thank
olive.
you, Charbel. I'll enjoy Bulletstorm.
Happy birthday, my
Thank you,
dude.
Charbel.
I was wondering.
Thank you. Thank
So-
you for Bulletstorm.
It was Josh's birthday last week, I believe. And I honestly didn't know what to get the guy that has it all. I mean, he has one of those koala couches. So I thought the only thing I can do to make this guy happy is I could give him the most underrated game that I could think of in the last 5 minutes, and that's Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition. And I demand you play that sometime soon, Josh.
So, Josh, do yourself a favour, play it for an hour and a half, then get the Steam refund.
Okay, no problem.
I bought it! It wouldn't refund him.
It would.
What?
Oh, no, it'd probably refund you the money, but at least then Josh doesn't feel guilty.
I guarantee you if Josh put an hour and a half into that game, he'd keep playing. That's how good the story is.
A challenge.
Yes,
You can be the judge of
yes.
that.
Josh, do it. I say this as your friend, as the proprietor of your business,
So,
and the guy who's claiming the deed to your house. Play Bulletstorm.
Dude, I'm gonna get
I'll
back
give
on
it. I'll give
Pokemon.
it the old college. Open up the launcher.
What do you mean, open up the launcher? It's Steam.
Yeah. Like I press play
That's a
and then
launcher.
it crashes and then I refund it.
It's not gonna crash.
You want to bet?
Look, if it crashes, that's your computer, man.
From
No?
Bulletstorm to Shitstorm.
Oh no.
There's a game that did catch my attention. It's called BDSM, Big Drunk Satanic Massacre. Look it up when you have a chance.
that is literally, how can we get the initials BDSM?
Into a
They
game,
were
yeah.
really
Into a
trying
game.
with that one, weren't they?
Literally, that is wild and dumb. I don't know. That's a bit far for me.
Actually, can I ask you guys something? How do you guys find out about new games most of the time?
Internet.
You or internet or skill up.
Twitter every day, man. Every time because I open up Twitter pretty much every minute. Yeah, no, there's always an announcement that I always come across every single
YouTube
time.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm not gonna lie. Most of the time, I just find games by browsing the Switch eShop.
It's probably not a bad one.
No, that's what you just go there, look for what's on sale, and you'll see games that are like $10. They're probably down from 30 or 40, and they're better than most of the shit that comes out, with like $1 million of marketing behind.
You know
it.
what you'll also be able to find on the eShop?
What?
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which I'm going to get us back on track to.
You can't.
Thank you.
You can't
for
do it.
derailing the podcast.
It'll never happen.
So here's my thing with Lechonk that people haven't realized yet. He's like a level 2 Pokemon, and those almost always have like in the trade he's a level 2 Pokemon. And those always almost have an evolution.
Like 3
So
of
he's
them.
gonna be like Lechonky or something when he evolves, and
Oh
he's
lord,
gonna
he
get bigger
coming.
and have tusks.
He-
Maybe
Like, he's gonna be Snorlax size. by
He's
the
gonna
end of it,
evolve,
I
alright.
reckon.
He's gonna evolve when I put him on the spit.
If you
I'm-
might not
I'm
be
gonna-
wrong. It might
I'm-
just be that. You know?
Well, what if it literally was that he grows up, he becomes a pig, and then the third evolution is just him rotating on a spit?
he would be a fire type.
Ouch. Well, he's a normal type right now.
Food
which makes me
type.
think
Can I-
that He's like
Hey,
the
can
Voloo of this
quick
gen.
question. Do you guys ever nickname your Pokemon?
Yeah, every time.
Yes,
Yeah,
pretty much
every
always.
time.
I will nickname my Lechonk Crispy Bacon.
You know what's the problem?
The
with
only
me?
name you can have for a pig.
I might just keep it as Lechonk. Lechonk's a pretty solid name.
Jack, I have a problem here because I have a naming scheme that I name my Pokemon. I always name them after food items, so I'm kind of fucked this.
Ham. Green olive.
Yeah, olive,
Bacon
boys,
bits.
olive and pork are really coming through.
Why do you name them after food?
Wait,
know, I've
what if
always
the
done that.
olive? What if the olive turns into a cheese board?
Yeah, it turns into a full. It turns into a full grazing table.
They introduced
Oh my
Turns
God,
into a
we
full
need-
charcuterie board.
We need to find the old man who rates your nicknames to tell you your nickname for Olive is shit because it evolved into a fucking charcuterie board.
That means they need to introduce.
Oh my god!
They need to introduce a new type. It's called the delicious type.
Oh yes, the scrumptious type.
I'm famished for these Pokemon.
Actually, look. I reckon Lechonk will end up with some like truffle attack or something. I don't know.
It's got Aroma Veil, which I kind of love.
Yeah, that's my thinking. Like the skill called Aroma, and then maybe snuffs out truffles or something.
The aroma on that crackling.
Oh.
If you're really like trying, aren't you?
Oh, what can I say? I had pork for dinner. All I think about is pork. I love pork.
Yeah, Lechonk for dinner.
What? Oh
It's
boy.
like if you actually look in Pokemon lore, Lechonk was hunted for his Chashu in the Kanto and Johto regions. That's why you can't find him now.
That's hilarious.
He went extinct.
I think that's why
I
Farfetch'd
just
is rare. Do you know that's why Farfetch'd is rare?
Why? Because he was hunted.
Yeah, because he was hunted because the whole thing is Farfetch'd is based off of like a Japanese proverb that a duck with a leek is basically just dinner because it carried its own seasoning.
Seriously?
Oh,
Yeah,
That's
no,
fucked.
that's why it's
That's so
called
fucked up.
Far-fetched. Why do you think it's called
Oh my
Far-fetched?
God.
Because it's the idea of like a duck coming with a leek, which is a dish.
Oh, that's
Which is
fucked
duck
up.
with leek. Yeah, no, that's fucked up.
That's
That's
so
why they're
fucked
rare.
up.
That's why it's called
I'm more
Far-fetched.
offended. I'm more offended at the shitty idea that they couldn't be bothered to season their own food. The duck had to season itself.
No, they just have the leek there, so you know
Yeah,
it's
he
easy.
had it with him. He's like, oh my god,
It's all about prep.
They could have literally called Farfetch'd takeout in English, and it would have made more sense.
I can just see a person with these Pokemon just getting like the chonky team, so getting Lechonk and then starting out with Fuecoco, the like larger crocodile, just
and
having
then
like a chonk team. Then you add on Snorlax, add on
Alright,
Slowpoke.
I'm gonna start an argument here because the only acceptable starter for this generation is Pirate Duck.
Oh, thank God.
That's if he turns into a pirate duck. I want him to.
He wears a little hat and he is a duck.
Have you seen
He
the
is
new trailer
adorable.
where he just like swivels the hair, and I was just like, nah, I'm keen on my starter choice.
I'm,
Look at
I'm,
that
Yeah,
face,
it's-
little
I'm
man.
keeping Fuecoco because I'm going to name him Owen out of respect for our man. Down here.
You know what? Just for that, I'm gonna get a Mantine and call him Owen Giller.
There's a special place in hell for people like
The
you.
assassin.
I'm gonna love if there's an interaction during the game where you literally fight a trainer who literally has a Fuecoco. You get to
Use Poison Sting. Critical hit. It's super effective. The trainer has now fainted.
Oh.
Oh dear. Is there anything anyone else wants to talk about Pokemon other than?
Oh yeah. So the game is gonna be like purely open world. Like you know how Arceus was kind of supposed to be that, but it turned out to be like a Monster Hunter like sort of experience.
No, this is
No, no,
definitely
no.
open world.
This one definitely is going for the actual open world experience. Like you can go in any order you want for gym leaders. Like story's not gonna hold you back. So
I love the fact that it's like multiplayer. So if you play with someone in your house, they're just wandering around the world.
oh yeah,
That's cool.
it's gonna. I think there's like 4-player co-op as well, so they can help you and shit.
Yeah, no, it seems cool. It seems like a fan game, like at this point.
I mean, when you have a Pokemon like Lechonk and weirder, rather.
I just want to
weird
give him.
heroes.
I just want to give him credit for trying something new because Pokemon's one of those series that cop a lot of fucking flack for never doing anything new and unique.
By people like me who think they have used the same titled formula for years, and they just keep printing money. And I'm like, look, I can't blame them, but I would just like them to try something different.
Well, Jack, you got your wish. Now it's fully open world, and you can go on whatever. They just made it Skyrim. Are you happy yet?
They also
Yes.
changed the combat system
But-
in Arceus too.
And they changed it
So
back.
they need.
They're better.
So
at
so
fucking
no.
changing it back.
If they've changed it to Skyrim, that means I need Rowlets, then I can have an Archer Pokemon and just turn it into a Stealth Archer.
Well, wouldn't it be a Stealth Archer since it's Ghost type?
I suppose.
Can I just say, right?
No, you can't.
Why?
Next topic.
Why is it whenever I plan to say something, yous all get worried like I'm gonna say something super offensive?
Not super offensive. We're just worried you're going to bring up the first fighting game that features Solid Snake.
What? Are you talking about Dream Mix TV World Fighters?
Oh, now you got him going, Josh. Thanks a lot.
You bought that on yourself.
Hang on. I'm going to move us on now. No, but honestly, do we have any other Pokemon stuff, or are we all good?
No, I just want to say that I barely touched Arceus. I played it. I said to myself, you know what? I want to finish the Pokemon Shield DLC first. I'm at the final bit of the Shield DLC, and I've just never finished.
You over Pokemoned yourself, I think.
I mean, but this is the thing, right? A lot when Pokemon Scarlet and Violet got announced, people were like, "Holy crap, we're getting two huge Pokemon games in the same year." And I was just kind of like, it's a bit too much Pokemon for me.
Yeah, no, I was of the similar thing. I'm like, eh.
I still
I
don't forgive them that they went back to the old formula of the 2-game system again.
I won't rehash that because I've complained about that enough.
I feel like it's
agree.
a dead horse at this point. It's like, yeah,
It's a
complain
dead
if you
horse,
want,
yeah.
but just buy one.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, sorry.
No,
I
go
actually
ahead.
did have a game I wanted to talk about that's super underrated.
If this is Bulletstorm or something like that, we're moving
I
on.
swear to you on my life, it's not Bulletstorm, right?
Okay.
So I've been looking at Smash clones, right? And obviously, Jack, me and you've had good experiences with PS All Stars.
Yes.
We used to play a fuck ton of that, despite the fact that it is objectively not as good as Smash Ultimate or anything like that. But
There's a
in
couple
terms of
broken characters.
crossover games, there's a game that I want to play, and it's annoying the fuck out of me that it's only on Apple Arcade.
Oh my God.
It's a Mario Kart clone, but it's got characters from King of the Hill, Family Guy, and American Dad, and something else. But I don't give a fuck about the something else. Because Mac Daddy Hank can drive a fucking lawnmower. And it's King of the Hill characters in Mario Kart. This is fucking amazing. Why?
That's just you to a T. Are you sure you didn't make this game?
Why
It's an
is this
alternate
only
reality.
on Apple? Why is it only on Apple Arcade?
What's the...
This is like the second best crossover since Dream Mix TV World Fighters.
What's the bet that the Family Guy characters are going to be overpopulated like Fire Emblem characters people complained about?
No, there's I think 5 characters from each series.
Perfectly balanced.
As all things should be.
Alright, that's perfect. I'm moving us on from that.
It's already
Alright.
overpopulated with Seth MacFarlane characters. Trash.
Wow. Sony had a little state of play. But finally, I feel like Sony was due to be announcing more stuff because they've sort of been a bit quiet. But
We did get an update to one of my favorite indie games.
your favorite
yeah.
indie games, just
Yeah.
small little indie game, right?
Yeah, from this tiny
What game
studio.
was that?
You never would have heard of it before. They call it Final Fantasy 16. No idea why there's 16 of them.
Wow, I can't believe this is the first I'm hearing of it.
Yeah,
There's
no,
16
no.
entries in the
Jeez.
series.
Yeah, I know, right? It's really underground. No one's heard of it before. They released them
Alright,
on
Charles,
these
this is
small
when you and I
consoles.
mute our mics and go bugger off for 20 minutes while Anf
No,
and
no, no,
Josh
no, no,
talk
no,
about
no, no,
Final
no, no,
Fantasy.
No, because before we get onto Final Fantasy, I just want to say overall, I was super disappointed with this state of play. But it's a personal opinion, right? I'm not saying it was factually bad or objectively shit or anything like that, but I just want to quickly do a rundown of the list and just explain something, right? Resident Evil 4 Remake, it's all well and good, but not my kind of thing, right? So I didn't have any interest in it. Horizon Call of the Mountain VR looks good. I still think VR is not fantastic
Not
just
quite
yet.
there yet.
Yeah.
Spider-Man PS4 coming to PC. All I've been seeing on Twitter since that announcement are the old tweets from Insomniac Games saying it will never be on anything other than a PlayStation.
I'll be honest, that's all I've seen of that as well.
Yeah. Tunic coming to PS4 and PS5. You know what? Tunic is a really, really good game. It was
I've
already
actually
on
heard
Xbox
good
Game
things,
Pass,
yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Street Fighter 6 going open world in its story is fucking amazing. My only thing is, I'm just a terrible Street Fighter player. But other than that, looks really interesting. But there is another controversy around that me and Anf, I know we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Roller Dome, rollerblading with guns. How else do you make rollerblading interesting to the majority of gamers? Stray, coming to PS Plus Extra.
Pussy Gear Solid.
Literally that.
I do appreciate Pussy Gear Solid.
And then we entered with that small indie game, Final Fantasy 16.
Look, if Final Fantasy hadn't been announced, I think people would have been pretty upset with this state of play. Like, I think up until then, Stray might have actually sort of surprised everyone and sort of taken it out, because there's not a lot, like, there just wasn't a lot of hype for anything there. I think I talked to Ant afterwards about the Horizon Call the Mountain VR.
Yeah.
VR just still looks weird. Like, the hands on the person, I don't know if it's meant to be AOE. I don't
It's like
think
floating
like,
hands, yeah.
It just looks like floating hands. It just looks a bit awkward. I don't know if that would take me out of it when I'm playing it in VR, but it sort of took me out of the trailer a little bit.
I don't know why they didn't program in hands, because, you know, you got other VR games like Blade and Sorcery that actually program in, like, full arms.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Actually, I will say the other thing, the Callisto Protocol didn't actually look bad. If I was into horror games, I'd be keen for that. I'm just not a horror person.
There was also Eternites, which was... I don't know. You guys think it would be my thing, but not really.
Yeah.
The only thing I cared about in that direct was the last thing that was shown, which was that little indie game we all know.
Little indie game.
Yeah, the small one.
Alright, you guys go and talk about it. Go nuts.
It's Super Final Fantasy.
Well, no, what did you actually think?
It's Super Final Fantasy 14. Like, holy shit.
It's definitely got the Devil May Cry blood in there, because look at the combat designer who's like going onto it.
Right.
Freaking it's also the same guy who did like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Dragon's Dogma, which I'm currently playing right now. Good game, by the way.
I've only heard good things about the game, actually.
So far, this game only has 0 party members. Nothing compared to Xenoblade 3, which has 7+ party members.
Yeah, no character development there, right?
No character development.
The
Talking
only
to women. Only 2 party members.
The only complaint I have about Final Fantasy 16 is the UI. And, like, it just looks... I don't know, it just looks very off. Like, it's a nitpick. Like, it's not gonna, like... It's not gonna hamper on my experience.
So you're playing it day one still.
I'm still playing it day one, yeah. But I look at that UI and think... That looks like it's not supposed to be in a medieval RPG. Like, I mean, this is Final Fantasy we're talking about, right?
May I remind you that Final Fantasy had, like, robots?
Yeah, but but they're going full, like, medieval with this one. Like, full.
Look, that's the closest they might get me to playing it, if it's full medieval.
And, like...
Yeah, there's like a skeleton protagonist.
I don't usually say this as a complaint, because I'm full advocate of games being games, you know, like, being gamey. But that UI looks really, really gamey. Like, I'd expect it in Tekken.
Can we talk about Street Fighter 6? I really want to get onto that topic.
Yeah, let's get
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very excited.
I think it's fucking ridiculous, right, that Cammy now wears pants.
Oh my...
Touch grass.
Drama.
Touch grass, please.
And, so obviously, I don't give a fuck what they do to the characters, but people on Twitter have literally been complaining now and calling it censorship that Cammy, a fictional character in Street Fighter, has pants as part of a default outfit instead of what is it she normally wears?
A leotard.
Like a leotard, yeah.
A leotard.
I'm just gonna say this. It's gonna be the first mod in the game. Why are you complaining?
Just go
But
on
like-
W.
Well, not even that. There's probably literally costumes. That's just the default costume.
I distinctly remember
almost
us talking
guarantee
about
that.
this. I sent that in the chat. I'm like, there's probably going to be like legacy outfits where you can give the characters.
It wouldn't even be
roles for
legacy
outfits.
outfit. It'll just be a thing you can do. Like
Yeah, it might be just skin too. Like,
For fuck's sake, just go on www.rule34xxx.com. There you go. Like, Ken's
Ken's
little
on there a
funky
lot.
cami.
If you don't know what that is, ask F. He has it bookmarked.
he
Yes.
has a book.
No shame.
I'm just like a character wearing. If your character wearing leotards is like literally everything you care about, you don't really care about the character.
Yeah, you caring about the game that much? Do you even play Cammy? Do you give a shit?
In
Also,
fa- in
I
fact-
gotta admit, I love Ken's new design.
The
Rio
divorced,
just took the fucking kids.
the divorced man. They did Ken so dirty because they apparently leaked his backstory.
Oh,
So
no.
in Street Fighter like 3, he's like, I think he got married.
Yeah, he
4,
did.
his wife was like pregnant and stuff. And then 5, he was going through. I guess he looked like he was going through a middle age crisis. In 6, he looks like he looks like he's on the streets. And apparently his wife left him or some shit.
Yeah, you'll notice
Why?
in the game actually.
Spoilers.
The game actually has like a calendar cycle where you go through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and like go throughout the week. You actually can't find Ken on Saturdays because that's when he's with the kids. That's the only day he gets.
That's actually a cool detail, but can we just skip Mondays?
I was literally joking. I have no idea if there's a calendar cycle in the game. I just did it for the sake
He
of the
needs
joke.
to enter this tournament to get money to pay child support.
I do feel bad for my boy Ken, because why are you doing my boy like that? He was the only happy character in the entire roster.
Like, apparently he just wants to get he wants to be like Ryu, get stronger. I'm like, how do you like simplify his character like that? That's not Ken, that's Ryu. Ryu's the street bum.
Yeah, Ryu is the street bum. Instead, they made him like Super Chad. Like, the dude looks like way too much like those Sigma male memes now.
Yeah, like, it makes sense for Ryu. I mean, the dude doesn't even shave anymore. He can't afford fucking razor sets. He fights every day. That's his hobby.
He's punching bears. He doesn't give a shit.
He's a fight junkie. Like Goku.
Like, yeah, basically, yeah, like Goku. Like Goku, if Goku had like 4 brain cells instead of 2.
Yeah, Goku. Except Goku has a family and a house.
Oh shit, and a radish farm.
Wow.
An exploding radish business.
What is it with blonde male white fighting characters and just having really shit personal lives? Like Paul Phoenix from Tekken, Ken from Street Fighter.
Terry Bogard.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Terry
poor
Bogard,
Terry. Maybe the developers have some sort of bias.
I mean, they are American.
Yeah, they see a blonde white male and they're like, nah, he needs stubble and like sadness.
He needs the daily struggle.
Yeah, he needs the struggle. We need to give him some adversity. He's not used to that.
Give them a VB.
You know what? I will be honest.
You ever looked at Ken?
I
and
will
thought,
be
"Can I share a beer
100
with him?"
I will be 100% honest. I want Ken's item move to be him just throwing a slab of beer at someone.
Isn't there a character that literally just chugs during the match?
Gotta be.
No, there
What are you
is.
talking
There's like
about?
it's like a Chinese fighter. He's got like super
Oh, okay.
long ponytail. He just like he has like a gourd full of like alcohol that he just chugs during the match.
I thought you were literally talking about like in real life, and I'm like, yeah, but 20 years ago. But anyway, Sharps knows who I'm talking about.
I actually completely didn't hear that. What was that, Jack?
I thought he was talking about a wrestler in real life, and then I was like, you probably know who I'm talking about in real life, but that was 20 years ago, so...
We've all went to school with one.
You know, no, it's okay. I will move us on, unless you guys have any other thoughts Final Fantasy or anything, or anything else at the state of play other than it was a bit meh?
Well, we're
Yeah, it was a
missing.
bit
We're
meh.
kind of missing like another announcement that was outside of the state of play.
Sonic Frontiers looks pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
Does it?
Really?
Really?
Really? You sure about that?
I see, I'm not like a bitch like you guys. And I can see that it's a game, and it doesn't have to be 100% fucking perfect at the moment for me to understand that it'll probably still be fun.
No, but my thing is, it looks like it looks barren. It just like it looks really like I don't know. It just wasn't.
Is that
Like
Throwing.
lifeless, yeah.
is that the point?
Yeah.
Like, you know what else looks lifeless? The scenery in Bulletstorm when you've eviscerated all your enemies. Get on it, Josh.
Alright, fine. You know what, just for that, I'll do it.
Are you actually going to play it eventually?
No.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually. You know what, I'll play it after I finish my backlog.
Oh, get fucked.
He knows how long the backlog is.
How big is your backlog?
Let's see. I haven't completed every GameCube game.
Are you planning to play every fucking GameCube
Don't
game?
doubt me.
Jeez.
No, like, seriously, how big is your backlog? Because mine is sitting at about, like, 400 games
Yeah,
now.
no, mine is probably about that much too.
I don't know if I could name 300 games. Jesus.
What about you, Ev? Do you have a huge backlog?
Oh yeah. I haven't counted, but it's
I have many games I want to play. I don't know if I'd consider it a backlog.
to be honest, I'm scared to count. I don't want to look. I don't want to think.
Yeah, I think that's my
Like,
thing. I haven't
I know-
got them on the list.
I know,
anymore or
I like
anything.
my Switch alone, I have like 80 games, then there's a few hundred on PlayStation, and then there's somewhere close to like 50 on the Xbox I just bought.
I think I'm in like
Because
a very similar position.
they're all backwards compatible. And then you go on my PC and my Steam has like another 150, 200 games that I want to play. And the next game I'm playing is my second playthrough of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Jeez.
Yeah,
which
did
I'm
replays count
gifting
in
to
the backlog?
Jack.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's why you have a backlog. You don't play, you replay
I-
games that are 90 plus hours.
Look, in my defense, when I played through Red Dead the first time, I was so into the story I didn't do much of the side stuff.
Yeah.
So I really want to take my time and do the side stuff now. Because it is a
Okay.
game that you could sink way too many hours into.
That's my point. That's why I'm like,
Like-
jeez.
I find that there's a YouTuber I watch called The Strange Man. And that's obviously a Red Dead reference. But, like, people are still finding new shit in this game. And I'm like, that's fucking insane.
People have been doing that with a lot of those sorts of games.
But Jack,
like
is
any
that
big
a-
open world RPG games?
Jack, is that an hours you're willing to sink into right now? Wink, wink.
I don't know.
I mean, because you know, you got a copy waiting for you somewhere in my cupboard. You know. Wink.
You know what the biggest crime is I think Jack would actually enjoy Red Dead Redemption.
No, I think that's what I'm scared of. I feel like it's gonna take over.
Let it, Jack. Let it consume you.
You know what does consume me? Warhammer
What?
40k. So I'm gonna move us on to Warhammer Skulls first.
Go to the dark side, Jack.
Alright, so let me just be up front. Did any of you guys watch any of this or know any of what's happened?
Absolutely
Warhammer
not.
is a thing that you build in your basement when you're like 38.
That's the models, but yeah, cool. Alright, so Warhammer Skulls Fest, which is a annual festival that Games Workshop holds, that basically they just go through all the new stuff that's coming out, and then there's like a week of deals and stuff. Which you should get on now, because I'm pretty sure they literally all end today. So we got a look at Fat Shark's next co-op game, Darktide, which has been announced for ages. It got pushed back.
Isn't
from last
Darktide
year into this
isn't
game.
Darktide the sequel to Vermintide, you said?
I mean, it's their next game. It's not directly a sequel, but basically it's like co-op like Vermintide, but in the Warhammer 40k universe rather than just Warhammer. So that's releasing September 13th on PC and Xbox. I'm super keen for that. The trailer looked really cool, showing off some of the story beats. One of the other actually cool games that I could maybe convince Anf to play was Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, which is the first we've seen of this. It's a turn-based CRPG. Hint, hint, Anf. So
So what's
You're
a
gonna have your party.
CRPG?
You level
I'm not up to date on the terms anymore.
classic.
Oh,
Not
okay.
Chinese RPG.
No.
Cable up.
So
You're not
be-
Colombian RPGs?
Colombian RPG.
So the visuals for this actually looked really good, and like I was actually really this sort of almost stole the show. Then I want to discuss this as a concept. This just boggles the mind. Ever since they announced that they were going to do something like this, Warhammer Immortal Empire. So this is Warhammer Total Wars 1, 2, and 3. If you own all of those games, they're literally going to have a campaign featuring all of those factions. There's going to be like, I think it's like 15 to 20 factions in this one game for the campaign. So it's like
That sounds insane.
it's like think of it like a Total War game with, or even Risk, but there's like 20 factions on the board.
That sounds amazing.
So
I feel like I would like Total War, but I've never played it.
You probably actually would. I actually have played like one Total War game, and I think it was years ago, and I've actually got Warhammer Total War 1 and 2 in my library. I just need to play them.
With that many on the board, that definitely sounds like a Total War.
Well, it's actually one of their more successful adventures as well. Like the Warhammer Total War games have done very well. The Total War games in general sort of been there, but these games have performed very well. So that actually just seems insane. Anyone who's an RTS fan will enjoy that. Space Marine 2, which I'll still say Space Marine 1, other than the original Dawn of War games, are probably still one of the best Warhammer 40k games, so everyone's really keen on the sequel. They didn't show us much. I'm really annoyed about that, but they did show off some pretty cool screenshots. There's a Warhammer 40k game that is totally up Shards' alley called Shooter Blood and Teeth.
That
It is
sounds
literally a
like
2D platform shooter. You literally run across the level. It's got like this absolutely crazy soundtrack going along that is just like metal, and it just seems really cool and nuts. Then I'm going to shout out Warhammer Battle Sector, which is the game made from the Aussie studio Black Lab Games. So that's a RTS sort of game as well, turn-based. Move all your units around and stuff. So they announced that there's another playable faction, which is the Battle Sisters. They sort of had some of those units in the campaign. Now they're making them a full-fledged race in the game. My problem here is they just keep adding. So they added the Necrons, and they're adding these guys now. As far as we know, they're not going to add any campaigns yet. I would like them to, rather than just dropping the races and that's it. Because the campaign really fleshed out a lot of the different units, and I think that they would be best served putting it in a campaign. Also, they're asking the Australian equivalent $20 for a single DLC race. Seems like a bit much. Maybe it's just me looking at that, but yeah,
it's a bit much.
that was Warhammer Skulls. Lots of Warhammer stuff. I think it was worth mentioning that stuff because there's a lot of games there. Warhammer games, they give out the license like candy, and there are many games made of them, but I think a few of those actually look decent, and this is the most optimistic I've been about Warhammer 40k games in a while. I like Warhammer 40k specifically more than just Warhammer, but yeah. I will hopefully convince you guys to play those at some point. Especially Dark Tide, because co-op, so... We shall move on, because I don't know if you guys are going to give me anything else
No, probably
for that.
No, bro, Warhammer's a you thing.
Yeah, I know. Look, I'm trying to convince you here. Diablo Immortal is also a thing. It's probably more a me thing.
Go back to
We
Warhammer.
want to punish them. We want to punish them.
Can I just say, right, off the bat, Diablo Immortal can go fuck itself for having 3 fucking currencies. Get fucked.
Yes, so,
It's a
Diablo
definitely a
Immortal
mobile game at
released.
heart.
the first reviews came in and people were going, oh, it's pretty positive. Gameplay is good. It feels like a Diablo game. Surprising how well it runs on your phone. I haven't played it on my phone because for some reason, despite the fact I could play in the beta on my phone, I now can't play the full game on my phone because it's not supported for my specific phone. I don't understand that. That's really annoying. Really annoying, guys.
Yeah.
So,
how much does it cost to level up your character?
oh no, we'll get to that. Let me lead you in. So, all the reviews were starting off well, and then people got to the end game. They finished the campaign. They got to the end game. Now, the end game is about running rifts like you do in Diablo. But the thing is, you have to put in crests. Now, there are legendary crests. The legendary crests, that's C-R-E-S-T-S.
Crest, yes.
They made a really fun thing. So you can get 3 of those a month as a free-to-play player, or you can buy them like candy. Now you go, okay, what do they do? You put them in, then you have to play through the dungeon level. Then at the end, you get a chance to get gems. The legendary gems, you can only get the highest ones, which are 4 and 5 star legendary gems, by using the legendary crests. So it's RNG on top of microtransactions to gear your character.
Yeah.
And people have done the math on the percentages and everything. It will cost you $110,000 to fully kit out your character. That's how RNG it is with these legendary crests and how stingy it is.
But don't you guys have money?
Yeah, don't you guys have wallets?
$110,000. I'm going to point out that's one character. You can technically transfer all your progress over to another character, they've said. But you won't have 2 instances of those characters. If you want to level 2 characters up to that much, it will cost you $220,000. Which means, if you want to fully level out all 6 characters, that's going to be over $500,000.
Yeah, no, I like Flock Crow's analogy of this is just pay your $5 login fee.
It is ridiculous. I expected microtransactions and everything, but the stinginess on this is bizarre, and they've already tried to defend it in ridiculous ways. So Wyatt Cheng, for those who don't know, is the director who was famously said the "Don't you guys have phones" lines. They came out defending this when they'd said in previous tweets and information that no gear would be available for microtransactions. So the 12 slots you have aren't gear. But no, those gems, which you slot into gear, no, that doesn't count as gear, guys.
That's not technically gear.
It's not, but what a roundabout way to avoid saying that we have microtransactions and it's pay to win. Because, yeah, there's PvP, and guess what? If you're not paying money, you will not win a PvP match against someone who's pay to win. It is absolutely ridiculous. There's been heaps of videos of people saying, look, I spent $300, this is what I got. And, people just losing their mind about this. Most Diablo creators I've seen are like, this is nuts, and I'm not spending any more money on the game. It's just bizarre. And also, people wondering, hey, they're not releasing these 2 countries because of loot box laws. That's a bit weird.
That's an interesting...
There's no loot boxes in the game. These are the loot boxes. The fact that you buy crests, and then you might get these stars at the end, these gems, that have the best star rating, but maybe not.
Jack, it's not a loot box, it's a surprise mechanic.
It certainly is for a lot of people. I don't know. I enjoyed playing it for I think I played it to level 30, which isn't as much as you think. That probably was 2 hours. And then I started reading all about these microtransactions and okay. I'm all good. I just can't believe how Like, I knew there were going to be microtransactions in it, but just how much they went and monetized it is ridiculous.
Does Blizzard just
Like,
want
they
to
actually-
be punched? Like, what?
They actually have the fundamentals of a good quality mobile game, and they've actually just ruined all of the sentiment they had with just how bad these microtransactions are. Like, people are literally saying, they just ease up on the stinginess of it. Like, the fact you can't earn, like, once you earn those 3 legendary crests a month, that's it. There's no other possible
Oh,
way
there's
for
no
you to go
like
after them.
story grind.
No, so there's like one in the free version of the battle pass. There's another one available, and then I think they gave you one for free, and that's it. Like, you can't work your way towards those in any other possible way.
That seems wrong.
Which I'm gonna refer everyone. I still maintain one of the best games in terms of how to deal with microtransactions is the free-to-play MMO shooter, or a sort of MMO, Warframe, where you can literally earn everything in game. If you grind hard, people will literally give you the platinum currency for stuff you've grinded. I think that game is still top tier on how to do microtransactions, and it just annoys me with Blizzard that they do this. And I'm going to remind everyone, this is their first new game, and I'm not counting anything that's a remake, since Overwatch. This is their first new game since Overwatch, and they pull this.
Ooh.
6 years.
Wow, you spent 6 years working on something. Or like just thinking of something to make and you decide, I really want like a game designed by an accountant.
Sort of feels like. Hey, the guy who made microtransactions was an accountant.
I absolutely.
Is that
believe
actually
that.
true?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's all coming together.
That actually does make a lot of sense.
I mean, like, it's literally a system. It's basically just gambling with extra steps.
Yeah. That's 100% what it is. That's why they started classifying it as gambling in those countries, and that's why it's not allowed anymore. It's just like, Blizzard is in such a rut with what they're doing with Overwatch 2, or their lack of, and then this releasing, and everyone's a bit like, well, okay, we expected there to be microtransactions, but you just literally butchered all of it. And like, it's literally, I feel like if Diablo 4 doesn't hit, Blizzard's stuffed. And my I don't know if Microsoft can save them. They're gonna have to try
What
because
can Microsoft even
they
do?
spent so much money. Make them get rid of the culture of whatever's going on for starters, and then just try and get them to make some good quality games again. Because I know people aren't happy with the WoW storylines either, and people have turned off that as well.
Well,
And moved over to games like Final Fantasy. So
I think.
this is just another nail in the coffin for Blizzard.
Did we talk about Dragon Song or whatever the hell, Dragonflight, the new World of Warcraft expansion?
No, I don't think we have. No.
No, my Alexia noticed something weird about the trailer where they had like the Blizzard employees talking about what they were looking forward to in the new trailer, and like all the male employees were like, "Well, yeah, you can. These are all the new mechanics," and then the one female employee was just like, "You can pick like so many different hair colors."
Jeez. That's what they decided to show off in part of the trailer.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
yeah. No, it's just a weird choice.
Very weird choice. Especially if it's the only female employees in the video.
Yeah, in the video, Jesus.
I just... What are they doing here? Like, this Diablo stuff's nuts. Like, they can't do anything on Overwatch. Like, there's just a hole they're in. I don't know. It could get to a point where Xbox or Microsoft regrets the decision to buy them the way they're going.
Yeah, it might just be like, oh god, can I get rid of them? How to
Just
refund a
simple.
company?
Who knows? Maybe they get rid of Kodak and things turn, but yeah. It's not looking good.
No, from what
I
I
don't know.
understand, getting rid of Kodak is kind of difficult.
I think like there's not much they can do publicly yet until actually sign it over.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot easier once everything's signed over. Whereas now you can't really look bad for public image. And there's probably... I can only imagine that Kodak's probably got some different clauses in the contract or whatever, or secret handshakes behind doors.
Yeah, that's what I'm imagining.
Let me leave quietly if I'm going to leave, or be stood
there'd
down.
be like big air quotes around a lot of that like
He
information.
quite clearly cares about his reputation, so... That's my Diablo rant. And Blizzard rant.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any rants?
No, I think we're good.
Actually, there is one more thing I want to bring up, right? Because I saw this today. Have you guys heard the GameStop controversy?
No.
Not anything recently.
Yeah, not anything recently.
Alright, so there's a Twitter page I follow, right? Called Fuck You, I Quit. And it's just about shitty workplaces.
I think I've seen some of their stuff.
I love this page, right? Like, I'm someone who's had shitty jobs and shitty employees in the past. So I can absolutely relate to some of these. A GameStop in the US, this is in New England, I believe, because it says NE on it. They put a note up, sorry for that. They put a note up, and it says, "Attention GameStop patrons, we regret to inform you that we all quit. Our district manager has no respect for us as employees or as human beings. We've been told by our district manager we were supposed to have had this store achieving sales quotas and running perfectly 6 months ago, which was 3 months before a lot of us were hired. Unfortunately, despite the staff's best efforts, we are not God. For all your gaming needs, please visit," and then it's got a whole bunch of GameStop's rivals. And then it says, "Spend money at an establishment that respects its employees. Sincerely, former GameStop team."
I love it.
That's not great. That's not great for them. I love, "Despite our best efforts, we are not God." Big fan of that.
Like, look, okay, so
Strong energy.
I've worked in, has everyone here had a job where you had to achieve KPIs of some sort?
I have not.
You have not.
Not specifically personal.
Alright, so
Not that
I'm
I'm
the
aware
only...
of.
So, okay, I'm the only one that has in the past, right? And the thing is, right, there's a big difference in how you approach a job when you're given a reasonable target to hit and an unreasonable target to hit. And, like, I've been in the position of like, I've been in both those positions. And, like, when you are given a task that you know is fucking impossible, your immediate, or at least my immediate reaction was, I'm just going to give it my best shot. I don't give a shit if this works or not, because this is a literal fucking impossible task. You don't even care about whether, like, you can accomplish it or not, because it seems so fucking far-fetched. And that there's no point in even trying, to be honest. But whenever I see, especially retail workers, because retail's a fucking thankless job.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And whenever I see that, like, a company or their employer doesn't fucking appreciate them, that's messed up. Like, that is legitimately fucked. Like, any job that's entry level, right? People throw the term skillless around a lot. Or unskilled. Right? And it fucking bothers me so much. But the thing I hate about this whole GameStop situation, and as sad as this is, that is always going to be a high demand job, because I guarantee you there are going to be so many young people who say, "Oh wow, I want to work in a game store. Holy shit, I spend like hundreds or even thousands on games, and getting a discount while working there would be amazing." Like, that's such a sad thing, because I know people that have worked for EB Games, who is owned by GameStop, I believe. They're essentially the same company. And I can absolutely confirm that there is a lot of shit that happens in that company. And there are a lot of employees, good employees, who aren't respected. It is fucked. It is one of those employers that only gives a fuck that you make them money. They don't care about you as human beings.
Bottom line.
They don't care about, anything else. They just care about how many, dollars you bring in. Which, when you get a company that's that big, I understand. But, like, I say this as someone who's worked in big and small companies. You can still work in a big company and feel fucking appreciated.
Right, yeah.
Honestly, it's so fucking sad. But there is a silver lining to this. And it's that you can get your games from just about every other fucking source that is not a big company. Like, I know in America, it's a lot bigger than here, but in America, there's a lot of mom and pop game stores. You can always buy your stuff online, or if you don't want to support online retailers, you can buy your stuff digitally. If you don't want to support those retailers, or better yet, if you're a tight ass, and I'm Middle Eastern, so I can sympathize, pirate your shit. Right now, look, I never, ever, ever endorse piracy if it can be avoided. But, GameStop needs to realize that just like in any industry, your fucking public image is super, super, super fucking important. It doesn't matter how big you are, you're never, ever safe. Right?
Yeah.
And, like, you think about where most EB games are in Sydney, and they're in shopping centres. And there are normally in those shopping centres at least one of their competitors. It's not like we live in a small fucking rural town and the next game store is like 4 hours away. Like, no, your competitor's 4 minutes away. Like at my local shopping centre, right, it would take me, and I shit you not, about a minute walking in the shopping centre to go from the EB Games to the JB Hi-Fi, and I am a slow walker. They're even on the same level. So take this as, I don't care how you picture this, but
If you got rid of some of the pillars, you could actually look from one to the other almost.
pretty much, like, as a business, your strongest tool is customer retention. And having your own employees, or I should say former employees at this point, tell customers, listen, do not shop here, that's a fucking red flag and a half. Your employees are so, like, they're so, not happy. I can't even think of the words because I'm trying to say it all at once. But, like, they're that unhappy with you as an employer, they're telling your business to fuck off and go elsewhere for everyone's sake.
It's not a
ridiculous.
really great place for your business to be in.
But there's one more thing I want to bring up to this, right? And now the last 5 minutes, my rant has been mostly business focused, right? But when I saw this, I saw a Twitter thread about a former person who worked at EB. They didn't have their actual name in their Twitter handle, so I don't know their full name. But they talked about their manager. Their manager was a girl named Amber. And they said Amber was one of the sweetest, kindest people who absolutely gave a shit about, everyone she worked with. She was if you could picture, a manager you'd want to work under, that was Amber. One of the issues was every time she would report something, to EB Games, and she'd be like, look, this is messed up, this needs to change, blah, 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 it would fall on deaf ears. And the story is pretty standard so far. I hear a lot of the same stuff about EB Games where, an employee is like, yo, we need to change this, and head office really doesn't give a shit. But one day, they'd actually found out that Amber had been in the... someone had tried to rob the EB Games and they'd murdered Amber. And they found her body in the back room.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh my god.
And this is because at a lot of EB Games, especially managers, they're forced to pull long hours, they're forced to work alone. And because EB Games are tight asses, and there's minimal security at these places, they were the frequent target of robberies. And unfortunately, one time, someone had tried to do a robbery, and she was the only one working there, because, of course, you'd leave one person working a store with such high value items because games and game consoles are easy to offload if you're a thief.
Very easy.
And unfortunately, that person was willing to take a life. And it doesn't end there. Because even though EB Games said they would offer therapy to the other workers who, have just found out that their manager was murdered in the store that they're now pulling shifts in, they actually went back on it and didn't offer the therapy.
That's so fucked
What?
up.
That's standard. That's like so standard. How
I'm
can
actually
you not do that?
I'm actually seething right now. Like that's fucking messed up.
That's so standard across the industry. That's mess.
I checked the profile of the person who wrote this, and I think they said they lived in Melbourne. I would have to go looking for this Twitter thread again, but like this is why I tell people.
We'll send it to Clinton and we chuck it in the comments.
Yeah, like I was like, when I saw that note that was posted on Fuck You I Quit, where people were like, yeah, shop elsewhere. I was happy because I'm like, holy shit, thank God these employees, had enough self-respect, had enough dignity, and they made a very tough decision to leave their jobs. And then I saw the thread about Amber, and I was like, now I'm pissed. You know what I mean? Like, what a scummy, scummy fucking company.
Fucking corporate dirtbags.
Like, that's ridiculous.
It does not make them look good whatsoever.
No, it doesn't.
No.
And can I just say, right, this stuff, this is exactly why people believe that brick and mortar shops won't exist in the next 10 years. This is where all your businesses is going. You know what I mean?
Which scares me.
Like, no, but I'm being serious. It now, in 2022, more than any time ever in the past, you need to make sure that if you're opening a brick and mortar shop, you are providing the best experience possible, and that does not end with your customers.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are certain places I shop at, right? And do you know why I shop there? Because I fucking love the people there.
Yeah.
Honestly, having good and, bad customer service can change your opinion of a place.
Easily.
I actually had a problem with my local EB Games recently. Where they actually... Well, okay, so I'll explain this quickly, right? Because we are running out of time.
Yeah.
But long story short, I do have friends that work at EB Games. I was thinking of trading my PS4 Pro in when they had that, when you were getting bonus credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long story short, everything we tallied up was around maybe, I think it was like $350 worth of credit off the top of my head. And I was like, yeah, that's way more than I expected to get for it.
Yeah.
And not only did I ask two of my friends who work at EB Games this, and they confirmed what I'm about to tell you, but also the person at my local EB Games said the same thing, which is that because I wasn't giving them the power cable and the HDMI cable, I would lose, I think they said $5 per cable for each one I'm not handing in. So that's $10 of trade value I lost. Now, you boys have seen my setup. You know that I really can't be fucked getting behind it and having to undo all the cables and deal with the cable management and all that shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll lose $10.
Also, a HDMI costs about that much, so
Yeah. So the next day, call up EB to confirm, because I wanted to put an Xbox Series S on hold. And the person I spoke to tried to fuck me over and said he would only give me $90 for trading credit, despite the fact I'd confirmed with not only his workmate, but also with multiple people that work at EB Games what the situation would be. He also laughed at me when I was like, hey, I have people that work at EB Games that's saying that you're wrong for this, like, can you double check and things like that. And can I just say, right, if you ever have a bad experience with someone, you should absolutely make a fucking complaint. Because it turns out that person who claimed to be the manager at the time, by the way, was not the manager. So I went in when the actual manager was working, and lo and behold, this person that I dealt with and was complaining about was also working that day. And it's funny as hell, because the manager had recognized me, right? And I'm not naming names, I'm not going to name what store it is. But they recognized me and they were like, "Hey, I see you all the time. What's up?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm making a complaint because this person tried to fuck me over." And they are standing right next to their manager. And I literally I like looked at them, they looked at me, they went to the back room and they never came out for as long as I was in the store. And I told their manager everything. I was like, not only was it like fucking insulting to have someone laugh at me, but trying to fuck me over out of my, out of my trade value, whatever. Like, no offense, but if it was just shit service, I'd go somewhere else. But the fact that they actively were like laughing at me and shit, and the fact that they tried to fuck me over,
said they were the manager, like, I don't know.
Said they were the manager, and that they said that like they said they would give me like a personal one-off deal, which is something they're not allowed to do. Like the fact that they tried so fucking hard, and they called my bluff when I said that I knew people that worked at EB Games and I knew they were lying. It just made me so happy to go in and complain. But the other reason I do that is because...
Which I think you have a right to do,
Yeah.
by the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the other reason I did it was because what if you did it to other people who might not have it in them to complain about that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Like me, personally, I'll have a confrontation. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But...
there are a lot of people who wouldn't because they're like, oh, no with hassle, or, you said it wasn't a thing, so I suppose...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, 100%.
And what's funny is the current manager there agreed with me. She's like, no, thank you so much for bringing this to my attention. I'm going to sort this out. And they said, did I have any other feedback? And I told them, yeah, the person I spoke to the day before that whole situation was lovely. And like, honestly, they were fantastic.
Yeah.
So, whatever. Good on that person. Like I said, I'm not going to say their names, but I hope my manager passed on the message to them that they were fucking great. And then I hope my manager, like, fucking did something or gave him a warning or something to the other one that tried to fuck me over.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, did you stick around in the corner just to see him get belted?
No, like, that's not something they'll handle in front of a customer, but like...
I mean, like hide somewhere and then like,
No, that's not happening.
I just...
I like good old classic vitriol.
Look, as much as I would have wanted to see that, I did have somewhere to be. I just went in there because I was in the area at the time.
Yeah.
But I think that's a solid place to end it. That's our consumer advice. If you have a problem with any kind of customer service you get, fucking complain. Make your voice heard. You can do it in so many ways. You can do it to the manager, or if it is a manager that you have a problem with, you can go online.
Just don't be a Karen.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, don't be a Karen.
Oh yeah, like if you're in fault, then shut the fuck up. But if you're not in fault, go complain.
If you're not a Karen...
Then go ahead.
Alright, I think it's time we end it there.
Yeah.
Josh has some Bulletstorm to play.
Yeah, I got
He
some
does.
Bulletstorm to play.
So,
Alright.
Alright, that's been Safe Hour Podcast. Signing off.
Right,
signing off.